Hello mga kaguro, kumusta na po? Update po tayo patungkol sa PBB 2022 nating mga kawani ng gobyerno. Dahil nagsimula na pong mamahagi ang PBB Secretariat ng guidelines patungkol dito. Ating panoorin ang recorded video na kung saan tinalakay ang mga guidelines na nakapaloob dito.
Since its inception in 2012, the Results-Based Performance Management System, or RBPMS, and the Performance-Based Bonus, or PBB, continue to be as tools used by the Philippine bureaucracy in ensuring the institutionalization of the culture of performance among government agencies and employees. From the previous incentive scheme, the AO25 introduced a new scheme and refined requirements in FY 2021, which was the result of consolidated studies and research in improving the implemented PBB process through the years. Since FY 2012, the AO25 Interagency Task Force issues the guidelines for the grant of the performance-based bonus annually to assist agencies in the eligibility criteria and conditions, requirements, and timelines that should be observed. Now, let's discuss the FY 2022 PBB guidelines. Essentially, the FY 2022 PBB shall continue the new and simplified PBB scheme introduced in FY 2021. Strengthen the effectiveness of the existing incentive system. Assist agencies in achieving the goals and expected outcomes of the government. Focus on the delivery of agency performance commitments and optimum utilization of agency budget. Reinforce roles of agencies in ensuring agency accountabilities. Enable agencies to conduct self-assessment of their overall performance, and ensure the timely release of the bonus. What's new for FY 2022 PBB? For FY 2022 PBB, there are some modifications in the FY 2021 requirements. Details of these modifications will be discussed later in this video. The coverage of the FY 2022 PBB still includes the following: departments and attached agencies, constitutional offices, other executive offices, state universities and colleges, government-owned or controlled corporations covered by DBM and under GCG, local water districts, local government units. The DILG, the LUA, and the GCG shall issue separate guidelines for the grant of the FY 2022 PBB for LGUs, LWDs, and GOCCs covered by RA number 10149, respectively. Each agency must satisfy the criteria and conditions under the 4 dimensions of accountability: performance results, process results, financial results, and citizen or client satisfaction results. An agency must satisfy a total score of at least 70 points and achieve at least a rating of 4 for at least 3 criteria based on the PBB scoring system. Now, let's discuss the FY 2022 PBB targets, assessment, and scoring system. How do you score the agency's accomplishments for the FY 2022 PBB? The FY 2022 PBB is observing the same scoring system as the FY 2021 PBB. Transparency in the PBB scoring system allows agencies to conduct their own self-assessment of their FY 2022 overall agency performance. To be eligible for the FY 2022 PBB, the agency must attain a total score of at least 70 points and achieve at least a rating of 4 for at least 3 criteria. Same with the FY 2021 PBB scoring system. To be able to attain a total score of at least 70 points, the agency should aim for a performance rating of 4 in at least 3 criteria. The unit or units most responsible for the criteria with a performance rating of below 4 shall be isolated from the grant of the FY 2022 PBB. Please note that there are other possible combinations of performance ratings that will enable an agency to garner at least 70 points and qualify for the FY 2022 PBB. Similar to FY 2021 PBB, the 4 accountability dimensions, performance, process, financial, and citizen or client satisfaction results remain as the criteria and conditions for the grant of the FY 2022 PBB. For FY 2022 PBB, the agency accountability requirements are retained. and shall be used as the basis for determining the eligibility of responsible units and individuals. This will be further discussed later in this video. Now, let's proceed with the details of each of the 4 accountability dimensions. The targets under performance results will enable agencies to concentrate their efforts and available resources on their mandates and core functions, as well as ensure the delivery of high-quality and high-impact activities. For MGAs, GOCs is covered by the DBM and SUCs. Achieve each one of the Congress-approved performance targets under the PID of the FY 2022 GAA. The performance results of agencies shall be closely monitored through the Unified Reporting System, or URS, Generated Budget and Financial Accountability Reports, or BFARS. The quarterly BFARS of the agencies, as uploaded in the DBM URS, shall be submitted in a timely manner, within 30 days after the end of each quarter. The rating scale for the performance results used in FY 2021 remains the same for FY 2022 PBB, wherein to attain a score of 5, the agency should meet each one of the Congress-approved performance targets for FY 2022, which means all performance indicators. 2022 Process Results Targets. The target is the greater ease of transaction of core services based on the mandated functions covering government to citizens, government to businesses, and government to government transactions and the administrative and supporting services within the agency. For agencies and SUCs, the target will be substantive improvements in ease of doing business or ease of transaction with respect to 2 critical services as declared in the updated Citizens Charter and in line with the Anti-Red Tape Authority's Whole of Government Re-engineering Manual. The 2 critical services include 1 core service based on the mandated function of the agency and 1 support or administrative service. As defined in ARTA Memorandum Circular 2019-2A, the services may be categorized based on the following. External services refer to government services applied for or requested by external citizens or clients or those who do not form part or belong to the government agency or office. Internal services refer to government services applied for or requested by internal clients or individuals who are within the respective government agency or office, such as, but not limited to, its personnel or employees, whether regular or contractual. Internal services include services such as, but are not limited to, back-end or support services to regulatory functions related to permitting, licensing, and issuance of a privilege, right, reward, clearance, authorizing, or concession. In selecting the critical services to be prioritized by the agency, the following factors shall be considered. The selected critical service is a core service, which is a process needed to achieve the overall mission and objectives of the public sector organization. These services may refer to those that are aligned with the agency's mandate and main functions. The most complaint service with the greatest number of complaints received by the agency and other complaints handling agencies. The service or services with the greatest number of pending transactions or backlogs that went beyond its prescribed processing time as declared in the agency's Citizens Charter. A service that generates income or revenue for the government. A service attributable to the major final outputs or programs of agencies, and a service that involves interagency action to complete the transaction. Highlight the tangible improvements from the viewpoint of the transacting public or client in terms of access, turnaround time, transaction costs, documentary, and other requirements. Proof or evidence may be any of the following: ISO QMS certification or equivalent certification, most current and updated Citizens Charter, report on the digitization initiatives or digital transformation of external and internal services, and standard operating procedures, manual or documentation of service delivery standards for frontline and non-frontline services. With the new requirements under this accountability dimension, the process results for FY 2022 PBB shall be assessed and scored as follows. On the rating scale 1, no substantial improvement in ease of transaction in both external core and internal services. On the rating scale 2, achieve substantial improvements to each transaction in internal service. On the rating scale 3, achieve substantial improvements to each transaction in external service only. On the rating scale 4, achieve substantial improvements to each transaction in external but non-priority core service and internal service. And on the rating scale 5, achieve substantial improvements to each transaction in priority core service and internal service. 2022 Financial Results Targets. For agencies and GOCCs covered by the DBM, attainment of the FY 2022 disbursements BOR, and for SUCs, likewise achieve the FY 2022 disbursements BOR and the FY 2022 earmarked income targets. The GOCCs and agencies with fund transfer shall likewise follow the formula for the disbursements BOR for GOCCs as stated in Memorandum Circular number 2022-1. The 2022 disbursements BOR shall be computed as follows. The new formula is: the disbursements BOR is equal to the total disbursements, cash and non-cash, excluding personal services, net of payments made in 2022 for past year's obligations over the total obligations. For SUCs, the financial results criteria also look into the utilization of the SUC's earmarked income. The rating scale for the financial results used in FY 2021 remains the same for FY 2022 PBB, wherein to attain a score of 5, agencies must achieve 80 to 100% rate of accomplishment for the disbursements BOR. 2022 Citizen or Client Satisfaction Results Targets. For NGAs, GOCCs covered by the DBM and SUCs, submit reports on Citizen or Client Satisfaction Survey or CCSS and resolution of all reported complaints and concerns from the hotline hashtag 8888 and Contact Center Nagbayan or CCB. For evidence on the Citizen or Client Satisfaction results, agencies may report the results of the CCSS using Annex 5. Said report should follow the prescribed requirements and rating scale as stated in Annex 5. Reports summarizing the hotline hashtag 8888 concerns and CCB complaints received in FY 2022 and their status if resolved or pending. And agencies shall ensure the resolution of all complaints and grievances and for new requirements introduced in FY 2022. Ensure compliance to the 72-hour prescribed period to take action on complaints as provided in EO number 6, Series of 2016. With the new requirements under this accountability dimension, the Citizen or Client Satisfaction results for FY 2022 PBB shall be assessed and scored as follows. On the rating scale 1, no submission or did not conduct CCSS. On the rating scale 2, average satisfaction rate with unresolved complaints and at least 30% compliance rate to hashtag 8888 and CCB. On the rating scale 3, more than average rate with unresolved complaints and at least 50% compliance rate to hashtag 8888 and CCB. On the rating scale 4, high satisfaction rate with 100% complaints resolved and at least 80% compliance rate to hashtag 8888 and CCB. On the rating scale 5, high satisfaction rate with 100% complaints resolved and compliance rate to hashtag 8888 and CCB. To sustain the institutionalization of compliance to existing government-mandated laws and standards, agencies and their performance management team or PMT shall continue to implement, monitor, and enforce compliance with the following requirements within their agencies. For 2022 PBB, the submission of the ARTA certification of compliance is no longer an agency accountability, while the designation of the agency's Committee on Anti-Red Tape or CART and compliance with the National Competition Policy or NCP are the newly introduced agency accountabilities beginning this cycle. Same with the FY 2021 PBB, compliance with these conditions shall be used as the basis for determining the eligibility of responsible units and individuals. Agencies should submit these legal requirements directly to the validating agency.